like it. The competition didn't like it, so they might have cut it. I'm just
what did they cut? Which one?
The model match. So I was like, oh,
you're kidding me.
No. Well, there was no sound, and then I re-uploaded the one with sound because I didn't know that the one we were actually doing that like went to YouTube had no sound. So, hey everybody, welcome to the MLO Live Show. It's a beautiful Tuesday down here in Florida, and hopefully it's beautiful where you guys are at. It's starting to get a little warmer. Congratulations to all the Michigan fans. Oh my God, that was a good series. UConn.
Oh my God.
UConn stayed close.
The boy from Michigan. What city did you grow up in? I forget now.
Kalamazoo. Yeah.
No. What was the one where you went to high school?
Oh, Marshall.
Marshall
Roysons. Yeah. Yep. Good stuff. So, hey, I'm super excited. We have my dear friend and business partner, John Hinks, in the house, and his co-part, Tzedi Briggs. Did I say that right? Tzedi Briggs. Excellent. And man, they've built something special, and they've been on here a couple times, and they always put on an amazing show. They do live in-person events, and today we're going to talk about and I've been thinking about a couple different ways to take this. So John, I'm going to let you guys take it. Introduce yourselves for those people, just for the recording purposes, and let's get this started, man. Let's help some people today.
Cool. Yeah, so this is Tzedi. I'm John, and we actually have a workshop that we have been doing for about 3 years now. And this year we've done one just about 1 or 2 every month. But the workshop really is designed. It's like a 3-step, 4-step process for your business plan. And one of the big steps one of the big parts that we kind of cover is your time, which is pretty much the most important part of your business. And as far as I've been doing it for as long as I have, if I had learned time management at the beginning of my career, I feel like that would have been a big game changer for me. And I think through the years of not listening to myself and what I was doing with my time, but now I do. And we like to teach that in our workshop. So
yeah, our workshop is called Cageless, and shameless plug, we will be in Charlotte on
April 15th. Yeah, we'll be in Charlotte next Wednesday.
That's next Wednesday. So go to bcageless.com if you want to come to that. But like he was saying, it's 3 or 4 sections. We're actually combining 2 sections later today. But we talk about your business and tracking and all that fun stuff. Then we talk about your voice and how to turn your marketing into things you already love doing and turn that into business so that it's less, so that you love your job more, right? Yeah. And then we talk about how to find the time to do all that. So I own a real estate brokerage here in Columbia, South Carolina. I have 33 agents now.
Dang.
And
good for you.
Time blocking is like the one thing, because we do this workshop for agents and for LOs. So time blocking is the one thing that agents will fight you tooth and nail on. And I know that because I did it. I fought him tooth and nail for like 2 years, saying we're in a reactive industry. We cannot time block. And then I finally started doing it, and I opened a brokerage. So
very nice. And how, hey, Sean's asking if you could center the mic. There you go. Cool. So Tzedi, how long ago did you start this? I mean, like when were you by yourself? And here we are.
We opened September of 2023.
Wow. Good for you. Good for you.
September. So we've been open about 2.5 years.
Good for you. Good stuff.
Yep.
All right.
So it says the mic is low. Is it better when we get closer to the mic like this?
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
Yeah, John, you were good. Tzedi just sounded a little lower.
I got to lean in.
Well, that's because I have an obnoxiously loud voice too. So, yeah, the big argument between me and Tzedi on time was really, and we'll go over this, is Tzedi felt like her time belonged to others and didn't belong to herself. And therefore, it was a very reactive type business that she was in. And therefore, she didn't have time to do the things she needed to do in order to grow her business. So once she gave in to time blocking and some of the disciplines that we teach in Cageless, that's when her business just blew up. And for me personally, that's when my business blew up as well, is when I decided to just take my time and say, this time is for me. And that's personal and business time. And it's non-negotiable. So that's kind of what we're going to go over today, because, we're so busy. There's so much noise out there with all the different things that we can do to grow our business, but we forget the most key ingredient, which is how do we find the time in order for us to be able to do that? And that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm gonna
Awesome.
go ahead and share this.
And John, while you're doing that, one of the things I always say is like we're all, you know, if you're a good salesperson, you're typically not detail oriented. So when you have 4 loans, 5 loans in your pipeline, you got 9, 10, you know, or 15. I mean, if you're closing 4 to 5 loans a month, you have 15, 20 in the pipeline, right? And so it's a lot of stuff. So we max out, we get up in the morning, we're like, I had some guy say to me, I just had lunch with a monster agent. I hope they don't send me referrals, because more referrals means more work, more time away from the family. And so I think that's, you know, a little bit of what you're going to be covering today. But I was like, once you learn to take back your time and own it is what you're going to cover, which is exciting to me. So I mean, this is a big deal. So if you're multitasking, don't multitask. This will help you increase your production for sure.
100%. So I'm going to hit share, and it says starting screen share will stop other participants' computer sound share. Do I want to continue?
Yeah, go ahead. Yep, go ahead.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So let's get right on in it.
Click application windows.
Where?
Right here.
That one?
Yeah, click that one.
Got it. Sweet. Okay.
All right.
If I can see that.
It's coming up. So there it is. I got it. Okay, cool.
Okay. So own your time where it owns you. That's pretty much the title of this little workshop, or this little class for the workshop. And we're going to just go dive right in on it. It's like, so first off, well, I think I did a post the other day, which was really something that Tzedi and I have been working on for a while. Is like, none of us really have a discipline problem. We wake up every day wanting to do better in our business. We wake up every day wanting to,
you know, you looking at the camera, looking away.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Right.
Driving me crazy.
So we wake up every day. We have the discipline. I feel like we have the motivation. There's days when we don't, but you know, discipline and motivation are such an overused word every time. And the thing that I've discovered more than anything else is the thing that separates a lot of the successful loan officers from some of the folks that seem to struggle every day is they know how to manage their problem. Manage their time. And so you don't have a time problem. You just need to learn how to manage your problem, manage your time.
Yeah, because how many of us spend all day like feeling like we're busy, and then we go back at the end of the day and we haven't really gotten our stuff done, right? Like all of us are guilty of that all the time. So I think what we need to focus on is time blocking isn't really about being disciplined. Because like Scotty said, like us salespeople, we're not super detail oriented, and we get into these industries because we really want to work with people. And we love that part, and we love the social aspect, and we love the getting to move all the different numbers around and be creative and help people. So we're not necessarily people that are super disciplined, and that's something that we kind of have to learn. But really, if you're time blocking correctly, it's not really about being disciplined. It's about being intentional. And that's the big word like that I want y'all to think about too. Is we're being intentional. Am I close enough? We're being intentional with our time. And if you kind of change how you're thinking about it, it really does help. So like you said, you don't really have a time problem. You're not lazy. You're not unmotivated. You're just undecided in advance, basically. So we need to make these decisions early on. So the big skill that John taught me that changed everything for me was brain dump, right? Once you get something out of your head, like, are you going to show your brain dump?
Yeah,
Once you get something out of your head, and y'all, I have like severe ADHD. They put me on the top medicine you could get. I can take it twice a day. So this was a real game changer for me doing the brain dump. And I still joke that I do like flex time blocking. Like I do not super strict time blocking, but I do time blocking. So what we need to remember is our brain is for thinking, not for storage. Okay. So when everything's floating around in there, we're overwhelmed and we're stressed and we start forgetting things. And then we just avoid starting, because if your brain is thinking, oh, I have 20,000 things to do, you go into executive dysfunction and then we can't get anything done. Right. So the big tool is to brain dump. So John's going to show you off his brain dump.
So
is this for today?
I use the Kindle. That's my favorite. Nice. And then, so I brain dump every single day in the morning. And a brain dump is when I turn all things off. Like I turn off my computer, I turn off my phone and everything else like that. And I brain dump for 5 minutes, and I put everything I possibly can in my Kindle. And I'm using a Kindle because I like to save it. So I use the little to-do list on that thing, and it'll go, and it fills up fast, guys. I mean, from little things like ordering swag to calling this particular real estate agent, or this is the person I want to create a relationship with. And it doesn't have to be in any particular order. It just like whatever in my head, I just put it out on the paper. Right. And then I feel an immediate relief when I look down and I see 2 pages of it and I look at everything and I say, this is all very attainable. So we take 2 to 3 minutes and rewrite everything down. And it's again, examples, calls you need to make, follow-ups, content to make, personal stuff. I mean, put your personal stuff in there too, because sometimes that clouds your brain while you're doing stuff during the day, you know? So all of those type of things, you just got to vomit it out on paper. And that should be the first thing that you do for the day.
And one little hack that I like to teach, I do it on physical paper usually, but one little hack that I like to teach my agents is that keep that list on you. And as you're blocked to do other stuff, you know how all the time it'll pop in your head, something else will pop in your head. And then we go rabbit hole and we're dealing with the something else that popped in our head. Just put it on the paper. And once you put it on the paper, it's like your brain can release it and you know you're not going to forget it and you can come back to it. So keep that. You need to make it where it's something handy for you to get to. And that way it's just much easier, because by the time I get to the end of the day, my list is a lot longer than it was when I brain dumped, but I've also marked off a ton of it.
Oops, I went past one. Sorry.
You're going the wrong way. Okay.
Hey, Tzedi, would you agree sometimes that personal stuff is overwhelming? Like, because we know we got to do it. It's not an option. We just got to get it done, right?
Like I put shower on my list. Because I also love the feeling of marking something off my list. I'm also the person that if I do something extra, I'll go put it on the list and then I can mark it off.
Oh, just as like a win, like a win for you.
It's like a psychological thing for myself. Like being able to mark that stuff off is so satisfying for me. So I'll put it on there. I'll be like, for groceries, mark it off.
Yeah,
you know,
Cages is a lot of psychology, and that's based on some of the stuff that we've studied back in our day. But it's a lot of psychology and a lot of studying that we put into it, and it's the human behavior of every day that we're doing. And when you check something off of your list, there is a euphoric feeling, and you want to keep going.
Yeah.
Right. You want to keep going. So instead of a to-do list, we kind of build a time map. This is pretty much what we're really thinking of, you know, when we're talking about blocking time. You want to go over this part of it a little bit?
Sure. So this is just an example. When you're blocking out your day, so you're looking at your list, and hopefully now you've taken, let's say you have 10 calls to make. So if you squash them all together and you knock those out in one block, it's going to be a lot easier, right? We all kind of know that. So do your time blocks. Between 9 and 10, you're going to do follow-ups, and that's all you're going to focus on. Between 10 and 11, you're going to do agent outreach. Between 11 and 11:30, you're going to make content. Then you give yourself a lunch break because people need to eat. Then between 1 and 2, you're going to do your pre-approvals and your files. So the nice thing about having stuff blocked to do is it's almost like you're giving yourself permission to not care about it until later. Does that make sense? So, and this happens too. We talk about it. If I have time blocked from 10 to 11 to do agent outreach, I'm not going to go do pre-approvals and do my files, right? And we're going to get into that one in a little bit, but it's kind of nice because, you know, if you have an application come in while you're working on your 10 to 11 agent outreach, you already know you have time blocked to deal with that later. So you don't feel like you're chasing it. Like I can get to that later because I have intentionally blocked time to do it. And we're going to go over another little
exercise
things to do with that, but let's get into what's next. Click it. Yeah. Okay. So we were talking about when you have this time blocked to do that. So John's gonna.
Yeah. So you want to hold yourself to the same standard that you'd pay for. So let's say, Scotty, let's say I hire an assistant to come in, and her only job or his only job is to do these things for me right here from 9 to 11:30. So from 9 to 10, I'm going to ask her to do all my follow-ups on the phone call. Do a great job. From 10 to 11, we're going to ask her to do agent outreach. And then from 11 to 11:30, I'm going to ask her to do content. Okay. And I'm paying her $15 an hour. Do I expect her to do it because she feels like it, or do I expect her to do it because I'm paying her?
Because you're paying her.
Well, we got to hold ourselves to the same standard. We all have to call ourselves a business. So between 9 and 10, 10 and 11, 11:30, if that time is blocked, then those are the things that you are paying yourself to do. And there is no negotiating in that. You have to do those things. Those are the things that you're paying yourself to do. And guys, really honest, like if you go back to that little part right there, an hour, it's amazing. There's two ways to look at it. Well, an hour is not that long. And I'm like, yeah, but like between 10 and 11, an hour is an amazing amount of time. You would amaze yourself how much you can get done in an hour if you are 100% intentional.
Mm-hmm.
So that is pretty much how we teach people how to build their time map. So
the secret weapon that we use in our time blocking is something called flex time. Okay. So this is what makes all of this work, because I argued and argued. I'm in a reactive industry. I can't just not deal with something because it wasn't on my calendar, right? So what flex time, because you're not a robot, right? This is where most people mess up, is you try to block every single hour of your day. And so you don't leave any room for the fires, because there are fires and there is stuff that comes up while you're working on your content. And there is stuff that comes up while you're doing agent outreach. So this is for the things that pop up unexpectedly. Okay, so let's say I scheduled 9 to 10 to work on my spear outreach. And then for y'all, what's an example of something that could come in? I mean, when I teach this to agents, I say repair addendum comes in. A repair addendum is one of the scariest things to a real estate agent. A low appraisal comes in, okay? If you get that email saying there was a low appraisal, but you're blocked 9 to 10 to deal with this, you don't touch that email. You don't deal with it. But the nice thing is you have flex time scheduled for all that little stuff that comes in, right? So we talked about how you give yourself permission to not care about it yet, and you can care about it later. So like me personally, I have 1 hour flex time in the morning, and that's kind of how I start my day. And that's when I deal with anything that came in the night before. And then I have 1 hour flex time in the afternoon. And that's when I deal with anything that came in during the day. And that's where all my fires go. That's where all my random things that popped up. And because I know I have those, it's a lot easier for me to respond and be like if somebody's texting me or whatever, and I do want to respond, I just say, awesome, I'll get to it shortly. And I know I'll get to it shortly because I have that flex time scheduled and there's nothing else in there.
And
Does that make sense?
Same principle is an hour of flex time. You would be amazed how many fires you can put out in an hour when you do it. Because like the way I try to describe it to the loan officers I work with is basically like if they have bad news that comes in at 9:30, it may only take them 10 minutes to figure out how to fix the bad news. But for whatever reason, the rhythm that they were in prior to that in doing their green activities or their money-making activities, it just gets disrupted. So that 10 minutes that they spent trying to fix that problem or answering a processor question or fighting an underwriter, whatever it might be, that 10 minutes turns into an hour, because after that 10 minutes, you're kind of mentally drained from doing it. So you just kind of get away from it. So I train my team, and I think everyone should too as well. Bad news doesn't come in until afternoon, right? Because like I don't check my emails prior to noon. I do all of my productive activities prior to noon, and then I don't even open my emails. I might open them like early in the morning just to kind of check, just to double check, but I don't really touch my email until noon because I don't need them. My agents are not in my email. My database is not in my email. So I just leave my email alone. I tell my team, like, hey, if we have any shitty news that comes in, just wait till noon. But, luckily enough, I don't have that much crazy bad news coming in. But that's what I try to do is I protect that time with every fiber being that I have.
Hey guys, I
got part of it too.
Oh, go ahead.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. I got a question for you when you're ready.
Wait a minute, I got lost. Go ahead, Scotty.
Yeah. So one of the things that I've researched and studied is we got these dopamine deficiencies that we need to fill. And so when we have these times checked off, the social media dopamine hit, emails, dopamine hit, bubbles on our phone, dopamine hit, we're addicted to it. And so how do you teach or coach people to because it's a chemical that's released that we need to have. So to get that stuff when we're not hanging around offices and hanging around people, that's one of the things we're always searching for. To get in the zone in that 1 hour of making calls or doing whatever, that's the toughest part because we're lacking that dopamine hit.
So some of us can't do an hour. Some of us can't do an hour, right? I mean, I'm going to be real here. Is some of us on this call have not built ourselves up to do an hour, right? An hour of just intentional productive time. So one of the things I do is I teach the Pomodoro ever heard of that before?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so Pomodoro technique is really cool because you can do 15 minutes, balls to the wall, no holds bar, 5-minute break. 15 minutes, balls to the wall, no holds bar, 5-minute break, and then another 15 minutes. And that pretty much gives you the hour right there with 10 minutes in there of maybe filling in your dopamine, whatever that you need to do. Like if you have to check your Facebook or if you have to check your TikTok. Yeah. Look, those apps are specifically designed for us to get back to it no matter what. Like it's an addiction for some of us, right?
Yeah.
So to say, just for me to just sit here and say quit cold turkey, that's a hard thing to do. So the Pomodoro technique is one thing I've overcome with that. Is like you can go 15 minutes and then go 5 minutes off. 15 minutes and then 5 minutes off.
And I know one thing you taught me is to be able to shut that stuff off. It's hard, but it's like you haven't trained yourself to do it. So if you train yourself to do it, it's going to feel uber uncomfortable. Like it's going to feel like you're sick. Like, what am I missing? But then once you get past, okay, I'm actually doing something productive. Like Tzedi said, like I'm checking stuff off. It's like so gratifying. And then you can do it the rest of the day if you want to.
I think checking off the list becomes my dopamine, to be honest with you, man.
Yeah.
Getting stuff done
too is like in Cageless, we have a whole section where we talk about taking the things that you love and turning those into like your marketing activities. So once these things that are in the time block sections, because we say you should spend 80% of your workday doing business generating activities, right? Not in fires. But once you're spending 80% of your day in integrating things that you love anyway, it's going to be less of a hit. It's going to be more like, oh, I love doing this too. This is also giving me a dopamine hit. And then the other thing I was going to say is I tell agents there's nothing in real estate that can't wait 6 hours. There's nothing. Because if a house is on fire, we are not firefighters, right?
Amen.
If somebody goes to show that house, it's going to be obvious it's not there. You know what I mean? So like we're not firefighters. There's nothing in real estate that can't wait 6 hours. And I believe that in mortgage too. I know y'all get very like, we have to deal with it right now.
Yeah.
But the realistic part is you run a business, and if somebody can't respect the fact that there's other parts of your business, you don't want to be working with them anyway.
Amen.
Well, I was a small story regarding that. I was really proud of some of the loan officers I get to work with every day. Is we have our 9 o'clock in the morning meeting every Monday, and the topic of conversation was, are we at least blocking 1 hour of protecting our time for 1 hour? And one of my loan officers in Johnson City, Megan, she was like, I'm fielding phone calls. I've got so many leads coming in that, I have to do these things. I have to call these, I have to babysit some of these people. And I know what she's thinking because she's an excellent loan officer and she really cares about customer service. But the conversation turned into like, does it matter if you call them at 10 o'clock or at 12 o'clock? And she's kind of like, no. And next thing you know it, she jumped on Cageless Callers yesterday with us and she did her 2 hours of making calls and making things happen. That prevents that whole roller coaster effect that we're all talking about, because she's dealing with the deals that she has now, but if she doesn't get working on the deals that she needs later, she's going to dip for another month and then come right back up. And she realizes that. And so she protected her time. She said, oh, you know what? During this hour, I'm doing nothing but making my follow-up calls and my outbound calls. So that's part of, that discipline part is maybe having like that accountability partner of someone just saying to you, hey, look, dude, you can't, I know you want to answer these people. I know you want to get back to them, but it's not that important that you don't have page 5 of the bank statement. Get your ass back into the game and start making some more relationships.
And y'all, being somebody who is constantly available actually makes you less desirable psychologically.
Say that again, because that's a big one. That's a big one, Tzedi.
Being somebody who is constantly available makes you less desirable psychologically. Like you have to show that you like, since I quit answering, like my phone's on silent, not all the time. I only turned it on sound when my sister was having a baby. I had to remember how to turn it on. I forgot. My phone stays on silent, and I have 33 agents, and I always call them back if I don't answer right away. And they always say I'm one of the most responsive brokers they've ever seen. But like other agents and stuff trying to get in touch with me, you call me, you text me what you need, I'll get back to you. Like I become a commodity. Does that make sense? Like a supply and demand. There's less supply, so there's higher demand. And so you don't, and also there's some a-holes out there that if you're seen as constantly available, you know what they're going to do? They're going to take advantage of it. And you're the only person that can protect you. So don't be
Oops, did we lose him? There we go.
in the long run. So the big question John's going to ask y'all
is, would you fire an employee who yes? Actually, the way I worked yesterday, no, I would not fire an employee. The way I worked last week, yep, I'd fire the hell out of me.
So say that again, because you broke up when you said it. What was the question?
Would you fire an employee who worked like you did yesterday? Right. So I know a lot of us have the freedom of, because we're 100% commission, of doing what we feel like doing during the day. But if someone knew how you worked during the day, would you fire them? You know, and that's, I mean, would you fire yourself? And there's days I have to go back and look the next day and be like, yeah, I totally would fire myself. 100%. And that's the biggest question you have to ask yourself every single day when you start and doing your brain dump is, would you fire yourself for the way that you worked yesterday? And that's a huge question, you know.
John, one of the things that that I always think about is, it's not instant gratification is a real deal and we all need it, want it. But these activities you're talking about create consistent, right? Like gratification, consistent gratification. So if we want consistent, I mean, yeah, we'll get instant gratification if we do enough of it, but consistent gratification, which means opportunities, referrals, relationships, stuff like that. This is where what you teach is like on steroids, because you might have, like you said, you might have a bad day, you might have a bad week, you might have a bad month, but if you're doing the activities, the following months to come will show themselves because of the work that you did. But if you just go, man, it didn't work today, made 100 calls, got nothing, I'm just not gonna do that again because it doesn't work. But it actually behind the scenes is working.
Yeah,
that's the power behind what you're talking about.
And that's why it's so important, going back to the first section of Cageless, to be tracking your results on things, because that's how you sit there and say, oh, this is working. So if you ever feel like, for me, I have everything super tracked with my brokerage. And if I'm ever feeling like, oh no, this isn't going well, I just pull that up and I'm like, okay, we're good. And it helps you like self-soothe the stress of it, because you have proof showing that it's working.
Yeah. I just put a link. So John has such a wealth of knowledge, and I'm thankful enough to be able to get on a call with him once a week. And thank you for that, John. And Tzedi, I'd love to, like, I don't know, get your calendar link too, because you're kind of a badass with what you're building.
Yeah. Oh,
I like hanging with awesome people. You know, it's like, who you hang around.
Is a good tool.
Calendly's a good tool.
Hey, listen, you know how we just asked ourselves earlier, what was the saying that you said about the like the desirable part?
Oh yeah, if you're always available, you're less desirable.
Well, you send a Calendly link to someone thinks you're like the bee's knees, because like, oh, I have to actually book an appointment for this person. So that's a great way. That's the little secret sauce right there to show like you are a desirable person, because I need you to fill this out in order to have an appointment with me.
Yeah.
But here's the thing though, you got to remember is, if your Calendly's wide open, you're not putting those times in your calendar and Calendly's not seeing it. Now people are booking in you're in the zone time, you know, and that's so dangerous.
It reads from our outlooks.
Yes,
it reads from our outlooks.
So it's blocked.
Look, your Outlook calendar or whatever calendar you use, Google Calendar or whatever, that needs to be your baby. You know, we teach in Cageless that you have green time, you know, and the green time is the things that you love doing, the things that you're good at doing, and the things that create relationships. And you need to be filling in at least, you know, half of your day with as much green as you possibly can. So live and die by your calendar, or else you're just going to be flying around in the clouds with no instruments.
Any questions from anybody? Unmute.
Thank you for the reminder of basic sales.
A reminder of basic sales.
I suggest anybody go to the website and take a look at where the events are coming up. Like they said, Charlotte next week. We're going to be in Johnson City, Tennessee in May. And then the next day we'll be in Knoxville. And then we're looking at coming down to Texas and a couple other places, maybe even
Orlando in August.
Orlando in August?
Oh, didn't know about that one yet.
I'm there, baby.
That one's being come to fruition right now. Orlando in August.
Let's go. Let me know if I can help, man.
Yep. Right around what was the name of that convention?
I don't know.
The Florida thing, whatever.
Florida
Florida Association.
Yeah,
Association of Mortgage Brokers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're talking to them about doing an event before then.
And John, congrats, man! I heard you started your CE instructor.
I did. I'm excited about that. Yeah,
congrats, baby! I'm excited to do that with you, man.
I'm very excited about that. That's a really cool tool, man. That was awesome.
That probably won't help Tzedi. I don't think that much.
Not at all.
Okay. Tzedi, we'll talk to her in August. Yeah, I got 475 agents now.
Lord have mercy.
Well,
Thank you.
Her agents are going to be able to get CE though.
I know, exactly.
That's going to help.
Sean, what you got, buddy? Yeah.
Hey, you guys are awesome. This is such great content, like the keys to success. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So my question is, do you give out your personal cell phone or do you have a different phone number, like from your CRM? How do you manage that?
Mine is personal.
Mine is both, but my team handles mine, I guess. So we do ours through Candid. So they pretty much answer all. I'm pretty spoiled, I think. So a lot of my intake calls are personal, is my personal cell. And then once it gets into the system, that's pretty much it for me. My team handles it through my CRM and the texting and calling through my CRM. And I am trying my best to get it to turn into everything goes into the CRM, but I'm not quite there yet just because there's that little dude on my shoulder. Like that's the biggest control freak thing I have right there.
You and me both.
That. Yeah.
Yeah.
And 20 something years, I haven't let go of that.
Me too.
I actually kind of like it. So anyway,
I do too. And I just struggle with that, with letting go of not use my personal cell, but then I feel like it makes me very available. Tzedi, you don't use your personal cell for work?
I use my personal
you
cell.
You do? Okay, you do. Yeah.
I just don't always answer right away.
You're better at that than I am.
So you turn your red receipts off.
Yeah, I do that.
Red
I do
receipts
that.
off.
Yes.
If you have an iPhone, that's the biggest thing. Turn those suckers off. Only turn them on for specific people you want them on for. But turn them off and just don't respond.
Well, if I turn mine off for you, you would claw my eyes.
You made me turn mine on for you.
Yeah.
He's like, it's not fair that you can see when I've read and I can't see when you're read. And I'm like, I didn't even know it wasned on, to be honest with you.
No,
but turn them off, and then it's just a self-discipline thing. And to me, I think part of it too is you have to think of it like this. And I tell my agents, I said, I will always answer you if I can. And I even tell my clients up front, I said, I'm not going to contact you before 9 or after 8. You're more than welcome to text me. It won't wake me up. But I tell them, and I always say, I will respond if I'm available and if I'm in the right headspace. Because to me, if I'm